coming to you live from the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California. It's the Sheena Metal Experience with your host, Sheena Metal.
Hi, and welcome to the Sheena Metal Experience, only on Parapod TV. I'm Sheena Metal. I'm a psychic medium. I'm an interfaith minister. I'm an energetic healer. I'm a 29-year talk radio host in Los Angeles and beyond. I'm a creative and a performing artist and a paranormal survivor. And I come to you live from my home in Southern California every Wednesday at 3 o'clock Pacific time. This show is about spirituality. It's about creativity. It's about humanity. It's about passion. It's about service. It's about becoming and then maintaining being your best you in this big, beautiful world and inspiring others to do the same. And it may be my show. It is the Sheena Metal Experience after all, but it's always and forever your experience. My guest today is returning to the show. He's a wonderfully talented, host, podcast, radio host in his own right, a fantastic musician, a wonderfully talented paranormal investigator, energetically gifted being. He is also the founder and creator of the Pacific Coast Paracon, and we're having one this weekend in Ventura. And I'm so excited to be amongst his panel of speakers, and so excited to have him here. Please welcome to the show the wonderfully talented Stefan Brigati. Hi, honey.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me on the show. Great to be back here.
Always good to have you on the show. And I can't believe the month went so fast. And I'm glad I got you in here before the Paracon this weekend. How crazy are you? It's just days away.
It was crazy since the day I announced it. It has taken up so much of my time prepping and doing so much stuff for this. And you know, this is my third one.
Yes.
You would think that I would be ready by now. Even my wife was pointing it out. She's like, you know, it seems like there's always this last minute scramble that's just craziness. And I'm like, I can prepare for years and it will always be a last minute scramble for this.
Right.
Test.
Yes. So there'll always be something at the last minute, no matter what you do, right?
Yes, absolutely. But, you know, I'm looking forward to it. But when it's over, I'm looking to just kind of get back and rest a little bit because it's been pretty crazy.
Yeah. And you've got a lot going on. I mean, you're maintaining your own show, and then you also sit in on you're on another show that I was honored to be a guest on, the Red Light Show. And then, you know, you do music stuff, and then you do teaching. And I forgot to say in the beginning that you were a teacher and a speaker. I mean, some people have you ever known? I mean, I know people ask this all the time, like, when do you sleep? When do you get a minute to yourself? But I find there's time for everything, right? I mean, you also have a family, you have friends, but you just find a way to make it all work, right?
It's tough. And, you know, sometimes I feel bad because it seems like when I'm not doing something, I'm trying to spend time with my family. It's late and we're just like kind of laying around, not really doing much. So it's like trying to juggle all this stuff and make time for everything.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy, you know? And I have multiple bands and stuff, and now we're like both bands are being very active, and I'm like, wow, how am I going to do this? And the whole paranormal TV stuff, and then all the stuff that we're doing, it's just nonstop. But you know, I love it all. It's all a big part of my passions, so I don't mind it at the same time.
Right, and you have to, right? I mean, without it,
what's the point?
You would shrivel up inside, right? I mean, if you weren't always lighting that flame, I think if you don't keep that flame alive, you die a little bit inside.
Yeah, because you just don't have the passion. So why would you put that energy out there for it, you know? But when you do love something, it comes better because you put your heart and your soul into something.
Absolutely. People say to me like, "Oh, I can't believe that you take so many clients." It's like, but it's not like a choice. People need me, and when they need me, they find me, and then I go. Like, that's my calling. Or Spirit says, I'm putting a new band together too after ever how many years. I think my last band played last in 2009. So it's been a long time, 15 years. But you don't have a choice. Like, you just get the download from Spirit, right? Now it's time to start this band. And you say, okay, I just keep showing up and saying yes. And I think that's so important. I think sometimes people who are doing nothing, they're almost like fighting against what spirit wants them to do. They're fighting against the flow by purposely being sedentary and doing nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You got to keep yourself busy, though. You know, it doesn't hurt to surround yourself and do the things that you love to do. I mean,
100%.
I love doing the Paracon, and I have spoken at so many Paracons over the years, and I just love being part of it because they always feel like it's not just like a convention. It's more like a family reunion because we all work together so many times throughout the field. So we're all speaking together, or we all see each other.
Yeah.
It's really great to have these things. And then when I had the chance to do my own, it was exactly that. I wasn't really planning a convention or anything. I was just kind of in my headset planning a party with my friends to hang out and all everybody
Nice.
speak and do their thing. You know, same thing with the vendors that I get. You know, it's not just they come in and become vendors, whatever. They become friends. You know, we're exchanging numbers and we're talking a lot, and I try to keep them involved over the years as well. So we're all just this big, massive family that keeps doing it.
So awesome. How has it grown from, this is the third year, right? From
This is
year
number
one
3.
to year 3. Has it become easier for you? Is it easier to expand? Is there room for expansion? I mean, you know, how does it differ every year?
Yeah, we've added more events this year. We didn't used to do a seance.
The spirits are answering for you.
Yeah. We didn't do seances on Fridays, but now this year we have a seance on Friday night. I think as we're going on, I see the allotment of time, because the first one you don't know what to expect. So you give yourself a lot of time to prep and do things, because after each event, I got to change the room over. Once the Paracon's over and the tables are broke down, we need to set up the chairs for this massive seance.
Right.
And then the seance is done, I got to break all that stuff down and get ready for the paranormal investigation.
Right.
So I realized with the 2 days that I'm doing, I have more time to actually set up more events. I could do more workshops. Somebody wants to come in and do a dowsing rod demonstration, do a workshop, I'll have time to allot for a couple of different things. If Tara wants to do a spirit photography workshop, there's time for that as well in the calendar. That kind of fits in there. So, and we didn't do Sundays before because we had a church that was renting out Sundays, but they've got their own building now. So I think maybe the next one I might do 3 days.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
Twice as many opportunities to do more stuff. You know, it comes together really, really well. And everyone seems to have a good time and enjoying it. And I just love the way it feels when we're all together doing our thing.
I think that's so awesome. What when you're looking for speakers, because I was so honored to be asked this year, what are you looking for, and what's sort of the variety of different workshops or talks that are going to be there? Because it's everything, right? It's psychics, paranormal, it's a little bit of everything.
Yes. Well, one of the things that I'm best known for over the years, and I've been in the paranormal professionally, I guess you'd call it. I don't really know what that means. I guess that really means organized.
Sure.
Over 30 years, and I grew up paranormal. You know, it wasn't like I discovered it one day and thought it was interesting. It was all about my life. But there came a point where I wanted to understand the science of everything, so I started learning science and taking on that kind of aspect of the paranormal. But I grew up very spiritually and involved in the metaphysics since I can learn to walk. Basically, I had a really cool mom who was into that stuff, and the whole resurgence of the spirituality movement of the early 70s came about. You know, the whole dawning of Aquarius things going on. And my mom and her friends were into that stuff. So I had the opportunity to learn about that stuff, learn about Ouija boards and stuff. There was always this Ouija night with my mom's friends and stuff. And there were psychics and stuff. So we got to go to some cool places and magic shops and all that stuff. But what I decided to do when I wanted to become a paranormal investigator was to take my experience in my life with the metaphysics and give everybody a basis of the understanding of science. Because in the paranormal field, there's always that conflict of science versus, you know, the spiritual realm. You can't follow psychics on TV because they can't prove anything. But with all my blinkies and my recorders, I could prove this and that. It's like, okay, but what if I take all this and take all this and kind of mish it together.
Beautiful.
And then all of a sudden I got all these other, see, she agrees. She knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This is Abby, by the way, for those who don't know about my show. Abby's my co-host on the show and loves to be part of it, gets excited when we're doing this kind of stuff. That's a REM pod that she's playing with. But
hi, Abby.
I wanted to be able to bring the two worlds together. And then when I started doing the books and all that stuff and speaking at Paracons, and every Paracon I speak at, I bring a different topic. It's never the same thing. I'm talking about something different, you know.
Right.
And it just kind of keeps it going. So with my first Paracon, like I said, I was setting up. COVID was just starting to let go. People were going out again, but people were afraid to do events, and there was nothing as far as Paracons are going on the coast anymore. All the Paracons we used to go up north. My dear friend Doug Carnahan passed away, so
Yes.
that kind of left a big gap there. And I spoke at his Paracons for over 10 years, all of them. You know, so I was like his MC, his host for the events.
It was wonderful.
And I learned so much from him doing over the years, you know, and like I'm overthinking stuff. He's like, no, you just do it like this. And so I want to do the first one in his honor. And for the speakers that I got, I'm surrounded all the time, whether I'm working on the podcast stuff or if I'm doing paranormal television stuff. You know, all these friends. I'm a teacher at the University of Magicus. I'm on Paraflix. I've got all this stuff happening, live paranormal, and so I know all these people that I'm surrounded by who are amazing that I speak with and get a Paracons that, like once I said, you know, we all become really close friends. And I just kind of threw it out there, and I said, you know, I'm thinking about doing a Paracon at the Majestic Ventura Theater, and everybody just says, I'm in. Oh, I'm in. Yeah, let's do that. That'd be fun. We could do this and that. It's like it just kind of came to life, you know, and after the first one, I think before the first one ended, I already had other people who were trying to get on a waiting list to speak at the next Paracon. And it was really amazing. You know, I'm getting messages from the guys from Ghost Hunters, you know, David Schrader and all these people saying, hey, let me know if you need anything, if I can be a part of this, whatever. John Zaffis is a good friend of mine as well. So it's like, wow, this is amazing. Everybody wants to be a part of this. So I just keep this list. Whoever hits me up, you know, I put them on this list and I say, hey, I'm getting ready to do this. You still down to do that, whatever? And it fills up so fast. And now I'm getting to know all these vendors, and all these vendors are signing up over and over again. So it's really working out, coming to its own life. I just kind of put the pieces together and let it run with itself, and it's just becoming its own entity.
Exactly. Yeah, that's so awesome. Is it hard to fit everybody into a theater? Because I think we think of a Paracon as happening like as a hotel, right? Where there's all these different rooms. And is it, when you envisioned it as a theater, did you wonder if one day you were going to expand beyond that? I mean, I know it's a huge theater, but still.
No, I wanted to set it up in there the way it's set up, because I have the speakers and all the vendors in the same room. We can all see each other. I mean, it is huge. It holds 1,200 people.
I love that. It's so different because most Paracons, you're in tiny little rooms, places, and people go to the rooms. This is great because it's almost like a show, like a concert venue where the action is happening on stage and at the same time stuff is happening and people are selling stuff in the theater. It's amazing.
The thing about the Majestic Ventura Theater, it is exactly that. It is a concert theater. Every big band pretty much in the world's play there. It's a 100-year-old historical landmark.
Wow.
So, and there were times during its history it was owned by the mafia, and there's many, many, many secrets about it. There were underground tunnels that ran through the theater during the alcohol prohibition days. There was actually jail cells underneath the theater, and for when they Shanghai people, they would take them out to the docks and stuff and do that whole thing.
Sure.
You know, there has been people who have died there at the theater. We have my sweet dear friend Anna, and she is known to be a headless spirit who wanders there as well. He died on the stage in the early 60s. She's absolutely amazing. But there's I knew I've been there a long time, so I know there's a lot of spirits there. But when I filmed my documentary and the show for Paraflix, I got to spend a lot of time there, and I did the filming and everything during COVID, and the spirits had nobody coming to visit them, so the energy was crazy. So when we were there filming, it was nuts. Just going into the tiny little kitchen there by itself, just going into the kitchen room by itself, there was so much activity happening. It was unbelievable. And then I was running my spirit, the technology I have, these spirit boxes.
Yeah.
They're, hey, I get it. What?
Abby, we know you're here, sweetheart. Hi. Welcome to the show.
So, once I was able to see what was going on, it was like roll call.
Yeah.
All the spirits telling me their names that were coming through, and just in the kitchen alone was so many. And then we're in the grand hall, this massive, beautiful hall where the chandelier is. I mean, it's just, you can feel the energy in there. And I started picking up my impressions of stuff, and then I realized there's something residual happening, and I'm standing in people's way because it felt like there was a couple hundred people there sitting down, and I could just feel like people staring at me. And I'm like, oh my God, they're trying to probably watch this movie and I'm in their way or whatever. I can just feel that on me. But it goes through these phases, and there's literally hundreds of spirits in there. And I know maybe 30 or 40 of them by name who are just super, super cool. And they all have these amazing stories behind them. And since I started doing the paranormal stuff there, they've been very active, and they get real excited about the Paracon.
So, I bet. Oh, I bet it's like a huge party for them. It's like a trip to Disneyland. Everybody comes in and fawns all over them and talks to them, and
it's exactly that. They know it's their day, it's their party. You know, and I started doing that before I started doing the Paracons. We were filming there, and I did this thing that I love to do. That when Ghost Adventure sends me out to these different places to go check out for them, if they have like a ballroom or some kind of place where they would have parties, I do this thing called the paranormal music party, and I set up like these boom boxes and all these different Bluetooth speakers, and I'll play music from their generation. I'm like, hey, you guys, we're gonna have some fun tonight. It's all about you. Let's do this. And the spirits just love it. They're just like, oh my God. And they go back to the old school era, and they
so awesome.
Have fun. And I started doing that at the theater, and they come out, and they were just like, we had a stick figure dancing in front of our SLS camera right in front of us, leaning against this fence or this little railing. And he was like tapping his feet, snapping his fingers. And it's funny because we have two guys there that are spirits that are dressed in these zoot suits. So when they were hearing that big boogie woogie band stuff, I mean, they must have been just loving it. So I try to do a lot of the stuff I do for the spirits themselves.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now your co-host Abby, is she connected some way to the theater? Because she got very chatty when we were talking about the theater, and now I notice she's gotten more quiet again.
Well, I just told her to step back.
Okay.
Because we're trying to talk, and I want her to be able to do that and I do that during my classes, just so people can see what I'm talking about, and she'll want to chime in or light it up.
Yeah. No, I love that she chimes in. I think that's fantastic. Yeah. That's awesome. She's a very good co-host and very well behaved. She knows when to talk and when not to talk, as a good co-host should.
Yeah, and she's not attached to the vessel, the doll itself. She can take off and go wherever she wants.
Sure.
But that's like her home, her domain area. So it's pretty cool, and she likes to play.
Do you think she's been to the theater with you?
Probably.
Yeah, because she got real excited about the theater.
Yeah, I had a spirit of a little boy that I knew pretty well there, named Joey, and he was a product of the mafia era of the theater.
Oh wow!
Okay. And over my investigations, it turns out that there was this wonderful spirit there that I really enjoy hanging out with. Her name was Nancy, and there was this other guy that was related to Nancy, and I guess it was her boyfriend or her man or something, and he was actually murdered there. And I think she might have known too much because she was also killed there. And I think Joy was their kid. So what do you do with the kid when you just eliminated both parents?
Right.
So he ended up not leaving there. But I used to always see him, and he could hear him playing and laughing. And I used to bring him candy and then put it on the stage for him and call out to him.
Nice.
And then one day, we have a couple kids there. It's kind of strange. You can hear them playing, and I love that. As long as I know they're having fun, it's all good. But it was time for him to go.
Yeah.
He can't be using energy staying behind with all these ladies of the night and all these mobsters and alcohol fishing people. He should go play and be somewhere where he can, hang out with puppies and be loved and stuff. So we ended up crossing him over, which was another episode that we filmed that was absolutely amazing. It was very heartbreaking.
Wow.
Because he was a good friend of mine, so to speak. And then when we were crossing him over, we had the spirit box in the background going on, and we hear a lady. I think it's all quiet, and we hear a lady say "thank you," and we think that was Nancy saying "thank you for bringing him home." So,
wow!
Yeah, it's cool. Right there in the Ventura Theater, where all the speakers are going to be, in that exact spot.
Wow, that is so fantastic. Does it? I mean, obviously, you spend a lot of time in this theater for many different reasons, right?
Yeah.
See shows, to do investigations.
Yeah.
Right.
I take care of all the rock stars.
Right. Exactly. This major event every year. It must be fun to put together something in a place that you're so familiar with, that's very close to your hometown, that you love. It makes kind of as a host, I think it makes it so welcoming, because I feel like we're all sort of going to your home away from home for this exciting thing this weekend.
Yes, exactly. That's what it's all about. I want to bring all my friends to my home, and it just happens to be a fantastic haunted location, full of love and excitement, and everyone could just hang out and have a good time. That's what it's all about.
So awesome. So really quick, because I know you and I can talk forever, and then we run out of time. So before that happens, run us through what Friday and Saturday look like, so people know what kind of fun stuff is going to happen this weekend.
All right. So Friday, I'm getting up super early and I have to go pick up a bunch of tables, and I'm going to have to put them in a truck. It really hurts my back.
Yeah.
Then, it's Friday. So Friday is a setup time, and I used to only do Saturdays, but since I'm setting everything up on a Friday, I thought I would do something more creative with the time. So we're setting up at 1 o'clock. I've got the doors open. We're setting all the vendors up. They're coming in. They're checking in. They're going to be setting up their tables and getting everything ready. And at that time, I start giving the historic ghost tour. Those who sign up for that event, which is really popular this year, which is pretty cool. I take a group of people, round everybody up, and I take them through the historical tour of the entire building. All the secret rooms, because this place has secret areas and stuff that nobody knows about, and I take them through all the stuff, and I tell them the stories of all the events of things that have happened. All the bad things and all the good things as well, and a lot of sad things. And I run that through, and everyone gets a chance to know the theater, and then that ends. And then after we're all set up at 5 o'clock, the meet and greet starts. So people start coming in, or if they're there from the tour, I let them stay in. They get to hang out with the vendors and stuff as well.
Sure.
They get to start the meet and greet a little bit early. And then we do the meet and greet, and it's kind of everyone hanging out, mingling, talking shop, going table to table, seeing all the vendors, talking to all the speakers, just kind of getting to know each other.
Right.
And then at a certain point that night on Friday, Patty is going to have a seance for some people who signed up for that. In a special location in the building that people haven't been to before.
Nice.
Which is going to be fun. Yeah. I told her about that. She's like, that's really cool. I think I like that idea. I'm like, yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I love that.
We're going to do that. Then it's going to end, and then we're going to get ready for Saturday.
Okay.
Now, Saturday is going to start at 9 o'clock, unfortunately, for me.
Okay.
Because I will be pretty much turning around and going back after a couple hours of sleep.
Sure.
The Paracon begins. The Paracon begins with, the vendors are ready to go. We're going to be talking. I'll be coming in, and I will be talking and greeting everybody, checking everybody in. The Paracon is going to start with the speakers. We're going to run through a different speaker, doing a different topic. whether they have a presentation, there's a giant screen up on stage so people can see
Nice.
all the videos and all the photographs or whatever they're going to want to show. At the same time, there's like this giant, kind of like a photo collage of different photos going by of all the speakers and all the vendors, because all the vendors get their own marketing plan as well, each one of them. So I kind of handle all that stuff at the same time. As soon as that ends, we break down the Paracon, and that's going to go until about 5 o'clock. And then we break down and we get ready for Patty's seance at 6 o'clock, which we do, and she'll run through that for a couple of hours for those who signed up for that. And then we get ready to do the paranormal investigation of the Majestic Ventura Theater.
Nice.
Yes. And there's a lot of people that sign up for that every year because
that's
pretty fast.
And
we set it up and I split it into groups depending on who goes, and I have my team there, Pacific Coast Paranormal. All our people will be there working the event, taking care of stuff. And then we'll set 2 teams out, one going at the top floor of the dressing rooms on the 3rd floor, and then the other people starting on another side and kind of coming through, and we switch across in the middle. Sure. This year in the middle, I think when everyone's crossing over, I might set up some new equipment in the middle and we'll try some experiments to see what happens. It's kind of be fun. Yeah. Checking out some new stuff. And I'm going to be passing equipment out, so people who want to sign up for the paranormal investigation get real world experience. I am a paranormal instructor at the University of Magicus, so I will be telling everybody the equipment and showing them how to use it. And what a great location to really test out your equipment, because that's what I do. Yes. I take all my stuff to the theater and say, hey, you guys, I got new toys. Come play with my stuff.
Right. You're right. Exactly. Come play with my ghostly friends.
Yeah.
Bringing all the friends together of this world and of the next.
Yep.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And do you think that having all those people there, right? So lots of people start coming early on Friday afternoon by 7, 8 o'clock when the paranormal investigation is starting on Saturday. There's been a lot of bodies through that theater. Do you think that revs the spirits up? Do you think all the while from literally the time you arrive with your crew and the tables, they're getting excited and kind of peeping around to see who's where and what's going on and following the historic tour around to see what's what, and then the seances come, right? And the paranormal investigation, and they get to let themselves be heard. And do you think that by the time it's been 2 days, like they're so excited that they just, by the time the investigation happens, they're just off the chain?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it starts right away because things are happening the entire time. Every year someone goes, oh, I had this thing sitting right here and it totally like slid all the way down to here. I couldn't believe it. They're getting excited. Or I'm saying, there's a lot of gifted people that come through there, a lot of light workers, and they're picking up on all this stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's this lady and she's dressed on Victorian style. She looks so great. It's like, yeah, these are my peeps. And they'll tell me who they're seeing, and I'll say, yeah, that's John. He hangs out in the kitchen. He used to be one of the assistants to Dave, who's the kitchen manager, and he's still there. And there's Big Mike, but Big Mike's roaming around. Big Mike? Big Mike, right? Okay, anyway, yeah. Big Mike, he's a bouncer manager from the 40s, and he was a mob guy.
Oh, wow.
He told me a lot of secrets. I was like,
oh,
wow.
I bet. And Abby likes him. Abby's a friend of Big Mike.
Abby, do you like Big Mike?
Oh, yep. Big Mike gets a thumbs up.
Yeah. He's a good guy. Sometimes he thinks I can't see him, and he tries to go the opposite direction when I'm calling him. And I called him out on it before. I'm like, where are you going? And he just kind of stops. So I'm like, I need you today. There's a big show coming in, and we got to check on this and do all that. So keep your eyes out.
Yes, and we
I put them to work. I put them to work all the time. I say, hey, you guys, I'll walk through the main hall because it's going to be pitch black, and I got to go all the way backstage to flip the breakers on. So I talk to them all the way down there. Hey, you guys, start calling them. Big show today. I think you guys are going to like this one. Blah, blah, blah. And I start flipping the lights on, and I start explaining what we're doing today.
So awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
Well, I think that it says something for the vibe of the place. And also, Stefan, I think it says something for the vibe of you that they come out instead of withdraw. Because sometimes I think in some places where spirits aren't feeling the vibe, or where spirits feel like humans that come in are not treating them with respect, it's almost like they sink back into the walls, and you'll go wander around with your gear, investigate, and get nothing because they're not giving you anything. So the fact that yours are kind of in party mode when everyone shows up, to me, is just it's just proof that you make everybody feel good, that there's a warm atmosphere there.
Awesome. Thank you. It means a lot. And that's what it's all about. It's all about respect and having fun. Because you gotta go, I go to a lot of these places and I've seen it. The Washoe Club and everything, the Birdcage Theater. You know, these are famous places that people want to go investigate. And then people investigate them all the time.
Yes.
You know, and it's very true. You know, these places are haunted, but the spirits decide immediately if they're gonna hang out with you or not.
Yes.
You know, if you go in there and you're just like the last 28 people that came through there, and you're like kind of not knowing what you're doing, you have no like real personality, you're just trying to put it out there, and you're gonna start asking the same questions. Oh, let's do an EVP session. Are you haunting this place? Why are you haunting this place? Tell us why you're haunting this place. You know what year it is? When did you die? You know, they're going in there asking the same amateur questions over and over again. And how many times can you just stomach that?
I know. Are you a little girl? Did someone kill you? Everyone else asks, are you a little girl? And did someone kill you? I don't know what human beings' obsession is with the little girl who gets murdered, but it's always like in the first couple of questions. Are you a little girl? Did someone kill you? That's why so many demonics and elementals, right? I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm a little girl.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I'm totally harmless little kid.
Are you a little girl? Because we're obsessed with asking that question.
Yeah. And you can't, and like I said, spirits will decide. They always take off and they hang out and they watch you to see what you're about. And if you're just like this stale, nothing, whatever, they're gonna go hang out on the porch until you leave.
Yeah.
And I've seen them do this before, like don't say anything, I'm over here and that kind of stuff. It's like, dude, that's why everything I do differently.
Yes.
That's why I teach at the university, because I have my own technique that I've learned over the 30 years of what I'm doing. It's no longer about what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get to the spirits, and I want them to know who I am. Right off the top. She's not some weird old. I might be kind of weird, but some stranger coming in doing whatever with the same old garbage. You know, I don't do that. I let them know, hey, I'm loving your place. This place is so rad. You know, you must have been so happy here. And I start focusing on their memories and appreciating their life, what they had. You know, and I've had spirits come like of places like the Mackey Mansion. I start talking about the wallpaper, and a spirit comes in and starts talking about, you know, all excited talking about the furniture and the timepieces of, you know, what they got it from and all this stuff. And I've got my devices going. And I'm recording this stuff. It's just amazing. Yeah. And I do that everywhere I go. I try to get them excited. What do you guys want to talk about? I'm not going to.
Yes. Yeah, it's,
you know, and if I do ask a question, I ask a happy question. Hey, what's your favorite ice cream?
Right.
And they're like, oh yeah, ice cream. You know, I've got responses to that. That's a good one. You know, what kind of music did you like? You know, ask them things they like to do. If you know a little bit about them, say if they worked on cars, say, God, this car right here is so beautiful. You know, you must have had whatever. And then they're gonna come out and be like, oh yeah, let me talk about my cool stuff. You know, you're all right. We're gonna be friends. Like, cool. And every time I go back to these places, psychics like, wow, they're calling you by your name. They're saying, hurry up, hurry up. And I'm like, yeah, it's party time, everybody. Let's go.
Well, don't you think it? And this is how I approach it as a psychic and as an empath, and as a human being who's respectful of others and a lover of history. And I know you're all those things too. I'm just going in with an open heart, hoping to make a heart connection. Like, whatever information you want to tell me is great. I don't need to know. I don't go in with just like when I'm interviewing you now, right? I don't have an agenda for what questions I'm going to ask you. I'm just going in with an open heart, and we're talking and letting whatever comes out, comes out. It's the same thing. When you go into a location like that, don't go with an agenda. Go with an open heart and figure out who you're going to find, who you're going to connect to, and what you're going to learn from them. Because if you just go with like these 5 questions that you're throwing at them that are the same 5 questions you throw every time you investigate anywhere, you're losing the scope of the magic you could learn from these beautiful historic beings, right? I mean, they have things to tell you about them, about when they lived, about what the location was like when they lived, the history of it. I mean, all that stuff is so beautiful. It's not really about you, right? Like you said, it's about them. So go in and see what you can learn from them, and have some magic happen.
Absolutely. And like I said, I've been doing that for years now, and I've learned so many things by just being their friend and being there for them. You know, not enough people do that.
Yes. Yeah. And I've never gone into a place, and I bet you're the same way. I've never gone into a place open hearted like that and not had some kind of connection be met.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
somebody is there looking to connect to your heart. And even like before I knew I was a medium, I would go places as an investigator. I remember I went to Fort MacArthur once, and this World War II vet just started following me around in the museum. I was all by myself because I like to kind of go off with myself sometimes. But he just started chatting me up about, oh, like pointing to different things in the museum. Oh, you know what this is? You know what that? I learned so much about the history of that museum from this spirit. But I think we have this idea that we're like chasing them and hunting them and running after them. But the truth is, you just got to go and sit and be open and let them come to you. Kind of like at a party, right? If you go to a party with living humans and you're like running after people and hunting them down and asking them weird questions and forcing them to talk to you, they're probably all going to make a quick excuse and bolt. But you just go with an open heart thinking, oh, maybe I'll make a friend today. Maybe I'll meet somebody cool. Maybe I'll learn something. People tend to gravitate towards you and talk to you. I think we just need to think about approaching spirits the same way that you would approach humans.
Absolutely. Regardless of what they are, even if they're non-human spirits, you still got to come in there with your personality, who you are.
That
it's
way
still
a being to being connection, right? So you have to go with an open heart.
I've and it's funny because most human spirits, they get it, and they love the personality, and they love my sense of humor. But there are times, and I do a lot of extreme haunting cases, but I still go in there with the same personality, right? And I'm very sarcastic, because it's my second language. And there's a case that's well known that you and I are both friends with, and I go we're trying to do this thing. I'm trying to get more information. We're doing some testing, and like Patty's sitting there, and Patty's got her feelers out, and she's doing her thing, and she's sitting on the bed, and we're trying to make contact because it's going pretty gnarly right now. A lot of activity. So I'm just saying these random things, just being a total like smartass, and everyone's kind of giggling and laughing, and then Patty goes, "Huh." I said, "Mom, what's happening?" She goes, "Two of them think you're so funny, but this one, he's just getting so mad at you." I'm all, "That's the guy who has no sense of humor. That's the guy who's got to go because he can't hang out because he's no fun." But it's that kind of thing. You just got to bring the same energy and attitude regardless what you're dealing with, because that way you know who you're dealing with. Now I know these two are not really that bad, but this guy over here with no sense of humor is the bad guy.
Right. Yes. And that is important. It's important to ask questions and to be open so you can also find out what you're dealing with.
Absolutely. Every time.
Especially when you're doing casework in people's homes, because, it's everybody has been to all the historic locations, and everybody should go there because they're fun and they're a great way to learn. But being a paranormal survivor and growing up in a Amityville Conjuring type house as a kid outside of Baltimore, people in homes that are suffering like my family was when I was growing up, these are the people that really need us. I mean, there are people out there right now who don't feel safe in their own homes because they have, non-living activity, and they're scared, they're freaked out, maybe they're getting sick, they can't sleep. And it's so important that there are folks that go out and do that work. And those are my favorite cases, is really helping people who are suffering and surviving the paranormal. And that's a lot. What I speak about, and probably will on Saturday, is about what it's like to grow up a paranormal survivor. I do a talk on that, and what it's like and how that changes your life and how you're forever changed for having had that experience. And it doesn't mean you have to go out and buy a crystal ball and open a spiritual practice, although probably many people do, and I did. But it's really about your life is forever different once you have been touched by the paranormal. You're kind of never the same after that.
Yeah. And for the people who tell me they want to get into it, I always give them a warning. I say, hey, once they know that you know,
Yes.
it's on. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, you can't stop it, because once you know, they know. They connect
Yes.
with you, electronically, emotionally. That's how they know about you. They're not talking to you. They can just pick up on your energy, and they just know everything that's going on with you.
Yep.
So you can't lie to them and stuff. But you got to keep it real. And once they know, you can't pretend like you don't know or you're ignoring them, because they know.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And you have to be prepared for that. And I think those of us that grew up in haunted houses, we grew up with that just without asking for it. I didn't know for the longest time I was a medium. I thought spirits just followed me places because they recognized me from that house. You know what I mean? Like there's like a network and everybody put the word out like, hey, if you see Sheena, she can see us.
Yeah, the girl over there, she's shining. She knows.
Exactly. I just thought everybody who grew up in a haunted house got followed around by spirits, because you really do become, like my Irish ancestors say, touched, and you glow a little bit different, and they can see you. And I think for some people, they don't understand what's going on, and I think it's a thing that you have to kind of grow up with and make peace in your life. And learn that it's a beautiful thing. But sometimes I think it can be scary and it can be overwhelming. And that's why when I speak, when I do that talk, I try to help people just, kind of come to terms with what's going on with you. And it's like when people find out they're empaths, right? That's a whole thing. Some people just think there's something wrong with them. And then they realize they're empaths, which is probably why my empath talk is another one of my very popular ones. And sometimes there's a correlation between being empathic and being able to see spirits, right? The more that empath you've got, the more you're going to be able to see and feel everything around you, not just from living beings, but non-living as well.
Exactly. And like you said, a lot of people don't realize what's going on. Like me as a kid, and I think about it now, it's pretty crazy, because I was seeing like angels and random people, and I'm laying there as a kid, and there's Indians coming up from our garage area, our basement area, coming up the stairs, like kind of looking at me, kind of smiling at me, and then walking up the other stairs into my sister's room into the closet.
Yep.
And I think about that now. It's just like, well, I'm a pretty trusting little kid. I'm not realizing that stranger danger. There's some weird people with holding herbs and stuff in their hands and walking into my sister's room, but you connect with that energy, so it's not malicious. You can tell. And like I said, one of them stopped and kind of looked at me and kind of gave me a nod, like a smile, and it felt, very, very pleasant, almost like, hey, thanks for letting us cruise through, taking the shortcut. Cool. It was really trusting like that. But a lot of people have those experiences, and they'll experience something or they'll feel something, and they're questioning themselves, which is sad, because everybody has abilities. Sometimes it's kicked in stronger. Some people get it after they were in an accident or a near-death experience. All of a sudden, their lights are turned on super bright. They're like, "What happened?" It's like, well, it's already been there, but you just got jump started. So, but with empaths, they try a little bit, and they're like, "Wow, what a coincidence!" It's like, yeah, no, they're not really coincidences, but okay, and then they try a little bit more, and opening up a little bit more, and then that's how they develop the skills. And I think a lot of people just need that focus, which is really hard in today's society. But they can generate their abilities and work on their senses and just be a bigger vessel. Awesome.
And you go from believing it's like the worst thing about you to it's the best thing. You just have to learn how to get a handle on it, and how to channel it, and how to use it, and not to be fearful of everything that you're feeling coming off of people, or, oh my God, I watched the news and then I was sick for 3 days. I mean, you learn to filter out, so you're not letting everything in. And the same thing with spirits. You learn to enjoy feeling spirits around you, and not be scared, like you said, and not be overwhelmed. I mean, this place that I live in a place that I grew up in this house from well, we moved from the Baltimore Hell House here on an Indian burial ground. So literally, out of the frying pan into the fire, welcome to my life. And it was very active when I was growing up, and I didn't like it because I was already PTSD from that other house. And everything about my parents sort of set it off. My dad's energy, my mom's energy. So this house sat empty for a long time after my mom died. And one of the reasons was I didn't know if I wanted to come back here and live on the burial ground. And then I decided I was going to give it a shot, even if just to fix it up to rent it. And I started, putting salt lamps everywhere. It's selenite wands. I have brooms in every room, and selenite towers, and lavender sachets everywhere, like all the things that are protecting. And it's pretty warded. The cat is amazing, and we keep it pretty warded, and we're good. But the other night I was walking from the kitchen into the family room, and there's a hallway that goes down to the bathroom and the laundry room. And there was just some big old thing standing in the hallway. I was like, hello. Okay. Hi. just don't acknowledge. And then it went away. So every once in a while, no matter how warded I keep this space, something from the outside comes in for a looky-loo, and okay. There would have been a time when I was young that would have really freaked me out. But now I think, like, you probably feel this way too, Stefan. Like, I've just seen it all. It takes a lot to freak me out these days.
Totally. And everybody's like telling me these stories, and I tell people on the school, I'm like, don't let Hollywood corrupt your image of what the paranormal world is. I mean, they're trying to make horror films for shock value. That's not really how it goes. I mean, I'm not saying everything's all peaches and cream.
Right.
There's some things out there that just don't want to play ball very nice. And we come across that once in a while. But don't let it think that like everything unknown is just waiting to jump on you or do something malicious. Because usually it's just like a grandparent or something coming to visit, an old relative, an old friend. We get visits from spirits of our loved animals, our fur babies that have passed on. I get them all the time. I had my best man was this Chihuahua, and sometimes I'm laying there at night and I could hear him in the living room. I could hear his little feet clicking down our tiles, heading towards the bedroom. And I heard him like bark one morning in the middle of the morning. I'm like, what the heck was that? That sounds like Cuddles. Yeah, he's hanging out. So that's not scary, and it's not like something's pretending to be Cuddles. What is it? He's like, oh no. You just got to put your feelers out there. When something's malicious and bad, you'll know. You get that. It gives off that sensation, that gut instinct. Your gut instinct, everybody has, and everybody has that psychic ability, because that's what it is.
Yes.
If it doesn't feel right or it's bad, your caution signal goes up. That's your psychic warning sign signal. Hold on. Let's not rush in. Let's feel this out. This could be a bad thing. So
absolutely. Yeah. And it's there are very few movies that are about good spirits. I mean, there's some, but mostly what people want is to be scared. And I think that's why a lot of people go into haunted locations, right, Stefan, thinking that's what they're going to find. They're going and looking for I want to see a demon. I want to see this nasty earth spirit. And I always say, no, you don't. You don't need that. You don't need to see that.
You don't want that at all. That's not a good plan at all.
No. But mostly what, like you said, what Hollywood's putting together it's a thrill ride. It's an amusement park on the screen. It's a roller coaster, and it's supposed to be jump scares and big scary faces that get all crazy. And the whole, like, for us, like the whole Knott's Halloween Haunt experience, right? What we used to call Knott's Scary Farm when I was a kid. That's what people are looking for in movies, but that doesn't mean that's what your paranormal experience is going to be like. And thank God that's not what it's like, because nobody wants to deal with that and then have something like that follow them home. And then, so be thankful that's not what is. And also be thankful that when you do investigations, you're with people who are safe, like you put together for Pacific Coast Paracon, where people know, what to do and what not to do. So you're in good hands. So nothing's running amok.
Yeah, exactly.
Only in the best possible.
Safety and caution, of course, but majority of the times it's always going to be a really good experience. And like you were talking about before, we're not hunting ghosts, because when I used to speak, like, maybe 12, 15 years ago, and people used to always introduce me as a ghost hunter, I would correct them. I'm like, hold on, I am not a ghost hunter. They're like, well, what are you? I'm a paranormal investigator.
Right.
Oh, what's the difference? Well, I'm not hunting ghosts.
Not
I'm
hunting
not
any-
going to shoot it with my ecto gun and
Yes.
put its
its
head
head.
on the wall as a trophy.
Exactly. I'm going to put
We're
its
not
little
really
spirit
hunting.
head on my mantle. Yes. No.
And I say that. I'm like, what would I tell my ghost friends if they thought I was hunting ghosts? And that's not cool. I'm a paranormal investigator. I research and I go out and investigate phenomena. And
Right.
sometimes it's not always ghosts. There's other strange things that I've been called in to investigate as well. So
Right.
I
Yes.
keep the genre open. So I'm a paranormal investigator.
Right. Absolutely. That's beautiful. Are you speaking on Saturday?
Yeah, I speak all the time. I can't shut up.
But I mean, are you doing a specific talk, or are you too busy to do that?
I'm pretty busy, but I start the show off usually. I'll
Okay.
go up there and I'll start talking and kind of warm everybody up and say thank you, blah blah blah.
Beautiful.
Introduce myself for those who have heard me talk about myself a million times, but whatever.
That's beautiful. That's so great. How can people get tickets? And again, I'm so honored to be a part of this, and I can't wait to see you. And I thank you so much for including me in your para family.
Oh, thank you so much. I just had a spot open up, and I was thinking about it, and we were just at the Parapod Festival, and I'm all, it'd be great, and we started doing you were on my podcast,
Yeah.
I was on your podcast. I'm like, yeah,
Yes.
she's not that far out. Maybe I'll just give her one of those slots and we'll get her going.
Yes,
it's going to work out for that. So people who want to join us can always go to the Majestic Ventura Theater website. You can go to the Pacific Coast Paranormal or the Pacific Coast Paracon website. There's also an event page on Facebook as well for the Pacific Coast Paracon. And if you want to and just want to go straight to the source, you can go to TicketWeb and type in Pacific Coast Paracon, and it'll bring up all the different events that we're having for the Paracon this weekend.
So excited!
Check it out.
I've got some friends coming out to meet me there, and I'm so excited. And I know a bunch of the speakers, and I'm excited to see all of them. It's going to be like a kind of a neat paranormal reunion. And again, I thank you, my friend. Everybody, please come out, see Stefan, see me. Stefan, what else is going on with you that you want to talk about, and where can people find you online?
I'm available on all platforms. I don't care what it is, I'm on it. But most importantly, make sure you go to Paraflix and watch My Darkest Hour. That's my adventure show. I also have a new show coming out called The Paranormal Extreme. Keep an eye out for that. But as far as we're talking about being safe and doing paranormal investigation properly, you can always join me at the University Magicus, and that's at magicu.org. And we have classes, and we talk about certain things that we're doing. I talk a lot about the paranormal from all different aspects, from techniques, styles, equipment, to practices and to experiences, from beginner all the way to the advanced, because there's so much to it that we really want to fine tune to be the best paranormal investigator we can possibly be.
So beautiful. Thank you for being here, my friend. I'm honored. Pacific Coast Paracon. What's the website, sweetheart?
PacificCoastParacon.com.
All right. Please go there. Join me this weekend. Join Stefan this weekend. And my wonderful
friend. Abby saying, hey.
Abby, bye, Abby. Nice to meet you, Abby. Stefan Brigati and Abby. So great to have you both here. And I thank you for being here. Yay.
Abby.
Applause for Abby. Thank you to Parapod TV, to its owner and operator, Tony Sweet, for letting us be part of your television family, and my engineer and producer, Emery. You are the wind beneath my wings, friend. I'm at SheenaMetalSpiritual.com. If you want more info on Pacific Coast Paracon or how you can hook up with me this weekend, there, SheenaMetalSpiritual.com, or everywhere on social media at Sheena Metal. Or guess what? This is the best news of all. Just text me. 818-437-0886. It's 818-437-0886. That's my private cell, and I would love to hear from you. Until I see you next time, seek peace, live in love, lead with kindness, embrace unity, always work to raise your vibration, and know that you are loved and you are loved. You're so loved by me. And I'm Sheena. This is the Sheena Metal Experience, only on Parapod TV. I'll see you next week. Take care of you. Namaste. Be beautiful.